This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, freaks? Yeah. Yeah, I played golf today. I made it all the way around the course. I've been taking carts for so long, I didn't think I could do it, but I had my electric cart out there, the push cart, and made it around. Actually shot a 78, which is, you know, it's not too bad. Especially when I started off so shitty with a, I think I went bogey, 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 like, and then bogey, then like a double bogey, and then I went birdie, birdie, bogey, then par, 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 bogey, bogey, par, you know, like, it was pretty sweet, so. Yeah, I think of the last 14 holes I was something like 2 over, but the ones before that's where I sucked. Yeah, it's pretty cool. No, I didn't say eagle. If I got an eagle, I would have told you. Yeah, so that was pretty fun. I've been walking, like I said, 5 miles for a long time, a few weeks on my treadmill with a 6-degree upslope, and you know, it wasn't too bad. It's still, like, my back still doesn't handle it too well, but yeah. It's gibberish because you don't want to listen to what it is. I've tried to explain it to you, but you don't want to know what it means, so you keep saying gibberish. Let me ask you this. How many in here do not understand how golf scores are? Go ahead. Just type, put a 1 in for that. I'm going to explain it to you where it's so simple. So that when you're watching television, you can actually get it. It's not hard. It's one of the easiest things in the freaking world. Okay? Wow, there's that many of you. That's incredible. Okay, just listen. Okay? Pay attention. Zozo, don't let your mind wander to something else. I know it's difficult, but just listen for a second. It's one of the easiest damn things that there ever was. I mean, it's literally the simplest thing I've ever seen. Alright, so in golf, there are par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s. Okay? So one hole might be 150 yards, that's a par 3. The next hole might be 400, that'll be a par 4. They just tell you what it is when the hole starts. So when the hole starts, it says this is a par 5. So that means you have 5 shots to get it into the hole to get a par, right? So it's like, okay, you have a par 5, you drive the ball, next shot, go down the fairway, third one, get on the green, and you 2-putt, and there you go, you get your par, and you move on to the next hole. If you get the golf ball in the hole in 4 shots on a par 5, that's a birdie. That's when you get it's a birdie. That means you're 1 below what the course told you you needed to get. Okay, now on a par 4, if you get a 3, that's also a birdie. On a par 3, if you get a 2, that's also a birdie because it's 1 below par. Now on a par 4 and a par 5, if you get the ball, let's say on a par 4 you get the ball in the hole in 2 shots, that's an eagle, which is 2 under right there on that one hole. On a par 5, if you get it in 3, it's also an eagle. On a par 3, the same situation, though, would be a hole in 1 because it's a par 3. You get it in 1, it's still 2 under, and that's a hole in 1. And then an albatross is when you get in on a par 5, if you get the ball in the hole in 2 shots. So you do your tee shot and then you hammer a 3-wood or something way down there, and it happens to roll into the hole. That would be a 2 on a par 5, and that's called an albatross. All right, see, you get it? That makes sense? Isn't that like the easiest thing in the world? And then each hole, you keep adding it up. And then the next hole, let's say it's a par 4, and you get the ball in the hole on the 5th shot. It's a bogey. Okay, that means you have 1 extra shot. And then it's just double bogey, triple bogey, quadruple. I mean, there's holes sometimes that are just a freaking nightmare. A double eagle is, well, it's the same thing as an albatross. It's not really, I think it's called an albatross, not a double eagle. God, what the hell? Yeah, so like there's people that have shot 11 or 12 or 17 on a par 4, and that's like, you know, you just quit counting. I mean, you still have to count them, but it's ridiculous. But, you know, usually you quit saying the word bogey after the 4th one. Like quadruple bogey, that's it. The 5th one, you know, you just sort of go, wow, I got a 9 or a 10 or an 8 if it was a par 3. All right, okay. Does that make sense to you guys a little bit? It's really simple, real simple stuff. Yeah, you notice how Miranda Lee is just always trolling the channel. It's always about her. it's so amazing. I don't really get it. What's going on, Miranda? Every show you have something. It's always your comments get removed. They're just. Anyways, been watching golf my entire life. Yeah. Well, it's actually a pretty cool game. I mean, once you get to the point where you can hit the ball solidly, it's a cool game. If you just go out there and start hacking it around, the ball is moving all over the place, and you can't, you know, you're struggling to even find it half the time, then it's not really that fun. I think it gets pretty boring at that point. All right. Anyways, that's the opening of the show. Now, don't worry, Miranda. We'll get right on to the cases. As a matter of fact, from now on, as soon as she shows up, I'm going to get right on the cases, you know, because when we start talking about anything else, we're somehow disrupting her life. Okay? No, that's not what you meant, Miranda. You didn't like the golf talk, so you wanted to get on to the cases. Because why would I stop my golf talk just to tell you what cases were? I mean, it's so obvious. Don't try to. You're not going to be able to gaslight people. We know what you're doing. Yeah. All right. So you guys ready? Yeah. Good for you, Miranda. Good for you. Yeah, and yeah, that's true. You can go read the title and you'll know what cases they are. But even though this is a Sunday, everybody, it's just like every other day on this channel. Like right there, Tosh, thank you very much. The freaks help support the channel, and it allows me to keep doing what we're doing. And then at the same time, at the end of the month, or even during the month, or on behalf of the channel, I send in donations. Because that's what I want to do with the money that I make on YouTube. 40% of the gross, well, usually about 50% or higher, way higher, of the net income each month goes to charities, and that's why we're able to do so much. And thank you, Tosh. too? Wow, thank you. Avocado Dancer. You might not get the Avocado Dancer though, because it has to be $49.99 Caligal free. Yours is going to be the that one. Yeah. That's pretty good though, right? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I had a troll email me today that I didn't pronounce. What was it? Let me see. Here's the thing, everybody. There's a lot of different crazy names of towns and so forth out there, and when I'm covering the cases, the name I realize that I'm not pronouncing them wrong 90% of right 90% of the time. So I'll say, I don't even know how to say this, but but it's the case that's really important, right? Yeah. So I have this troll that sent me an email that said, "Done. It's done. Eden, like Barbara Eden. Dun Eden is the name of the town. Geez, Gray, you were driving me crazy how you were trying to pronounce it." And I said, "Who cares?" And then she said, "Okay, if you're going to dedicate a whole night to a story," which isn't true whatsoever, we covered a whole bunch of other cases too, "at least you could pronounce the names of the towns correctly. Just trying to help so you don't sound like a stumbling idiot next time." You don't think that person is just one of those asshole trolls that just can't wait for a mistake to be made so they can send me an email? Well, they're blocked now, okay? So, yeah. I mean, doesn't that just drive you crazy? Could you imagine having to deal with that, you guys, on your own every single day? You get up in the morning and you... Yeah, I don't care. Do you care, Brenda? I mean, like, I don't need somebody to send me an email on how to pronounce the name of a town that I'll never say again. You know, it's like, it's just so unimportant, you know? Like, you guys say Argonne, right? And, yeah, we make fun of you like, oh, my God, it's Oregon, not Argonne, or Oregon, or, you know. So, yes, who cares? You know, it's not related. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Right. That's a good one, Tosh. That's perfect. I challenge the troll to pronounce the following Oregon towns. I can say them: Tualatin, Tigard, Kaiser, and Multnomah. But idiots like herself would probably went Multnomah, or Tigard. Right? That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. Well, there you go, Caligal 3. You can pretend that one was yours. Man, you have to do that one really quick. I definitely thought it was Tigard. Oh, come on. No way.
Tualatin, Tigard, Kaiser, Multnomah. The list goes on and on.
All right, hold on a second. My wife just came on. There we go. All right, ready? Let's do the cases. Are you sure about that, Marlene? I think, you know, there's times where I'm an ass, so I can see why people would say that I was mean or something. But I don't think I'm a mean person whatsoever. Like if you ever met me in person, you wouldn't think that. And also, if you hang out here and you're here all the time, you would know that too. You know, you guys just, like I say, you see me every single day, so you get to see me no matter what my mood is. If I'm in a shitty mood, well, you get to see it. So, there you go. Jesus, Private Eye. You guys are always, everybody's always telling me like how to run the show and what to have going. Great, just it has to be exactly the same every time. Man, if every second isn't like every other second. I mean, don't you think in a few minutes I would have figured it out? Like, oh yeah, my music. Right. All right, here we go. We're going to go back in time now. And it says, smothered infant found in dumpster. 1992 says, police believe that a newborn whose body was left in a Picayune, I think that's right, Picayune garbage dumpster last week came from the New Orleans area. Authorities say that the infant, whose umbilical cord was still attached, was smothered shortly after birth and wrapped in a towel. The baby, a white female, is being referred to as Baby Jane. Picayune Police Chief Freddie Drennan said an autopsy indicated the baby Jane probably was born Wednesday morning. Police believe the baby may have come from the West Bank area because the plastic bag containing her body also contained pages from the Times, Picayune's West Bank edition, a candy wrapper perched at K&B Drugs in Gretna, Louisiana, and a wrapper from lip gloss purchased at Eckerd Drugs in Marrero. And sorry if I don't say them all right, I just don't care that much. I care about the case itself. We're handling this as a homicide. Alright. Alright, so they're looking at it as a homicide. And then there was another article from around that time. This is more like, I think it, well, let's see, Bay Street, Louis, St. Louis, Bay St. Louis. I'm not sure. Is this the same story? Yeah. Huh. Pearl River and Hancock County authorities are investigating the death of a newborn infant whose body was left in a Picayune garbage dumpster last week. The infant, whom investigators believe came from New Orleans area, was smothered shortly after birth and wrapped in a towel. Authorities are calling the baby a white female Baby Jane. Hayward Fleming of Leetown called the Hancock County Sheriff's Department at 3:30 p.m. Friday to report that he had found a dead baby in a plastic bag. Fleming found a bag containing what he thought were food scraps in a dumpster outside. He feeds them to his pig, normally when he finds food scraps. In a dumpster, Mr. Gatti's Pizza in the Pine Tree Plaza Center on Mississippi 43. I think this is it right here. So that's 43, and then I was reading about the name. Yeah, Pine Tree Plaza, and in fact, I think it's this building right here. This one. Pretty sure. It's not the same place now, but I think over the years we'll see here in a minute. Yeah, so it's Mr. Gatti's Pizza, the Pine Tree Plaza Shopping Center. And let's see, Fleming, who intended to use the scraps to feed his hog, took the bag home and did not open it until Friday. Wow. Imagine if he had just sort of, in the nighttime, dumped that into the hogs. They never would have found that baby. Hancock authorities returned the body to, let's see, so open until Friday, sheriff investigators Nathan Hoda said. Hancock authorities returned the body to Picayune, where Dr. Paul McGarry performed an autopsy. Peterson said the baby, whose umbilical cord was still attached, was wrapped in a maroon towel. Picayune Police Chief Freddie Drennan said the autopsy indicated that baby Jane was probably born Wednesday morning. She was about 3 weeks premature and lived for a few minutes before she was smothered, he said. Wow. Police believe the baby may have come from the New Orleans West Bank area because the plastic bag containing her body also contained pages from the Times Picayune's West Bank edition, a candy wrapper purchased at K&B Drugstore. Yeah, so we went through that a minute ago. All right. And then here we go. Look at this. Boom, chakalaka. DNA leads cops to arrest Louisiana couple in 1992 murder of baby girl tossed in dumpster. A Louisiana couple has been arrested for the 1992 cold case slaying of a newborn girl who was smothered and tossed in the dumpster of a Mississippi restaurant. Inga Johansson Carrier, or it might be like Carrier or something, I don't know, Carriere, and Andrew K. Carrier, too, both 50, were charged with first-degree murder after police, using advanced DNA technology, identify the pair as the infant parents. The heartless killing sent shockwaves through the town of Picayune, Mississippi, where a farmer discovered the tiny body while collecting garbage to feed his animals. The dead baby had been put inside a trash bag wrapped in a towel and pieces of garbage. The Mississippi State Police Medical Examiner Office concluded the infant was around 3 weeks premature and alive for only a few minutes before she was smothered. Although Picayune police collected some pieces of evidence from the crime scene, the case went cold until investigators reopened it in 2021, when a Mississippi Bureau of Investigation agent offered to help, aided by a grant that would cover forensic genetic testing. So we basically, that's kind of what we do, is we have we put money into the, I mean, you could call it a grant, you can call it whatever the hell you want. But these are the parents. I mean, just, wow. Okay. That child had no chance with these guys. The test matching grandparents who lived in Louisiana, leading state police to gather DNA of their 4 children. The tests found matching grandparents who lived in Louisiana, leading state police to gather DNA of their 4 children. Through the testing, officials were able to link the infant to carriers. Arrest warrants were issued for the couple, with Inga arrested February 28th and Andrew taken into custody March 9th in Galliano, Louisiana. Along with the murder charge, the couple was also booked for desecration of a body. The pair are being held without bond in the Jefferson Parish Correctional Facility while awaiting extradition to Mississippi. So there's the dumpster at the time. And so I think that's the building. Now let me show you. I don't really, let's see, so that would have been in the parking lot. So maybe it's like over here, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, see, doesn't that just kind of look the same? I mean, you can see the shape. See how that has that thing that sticks out there? I mean, it looks like that. So I can't do anything with that, but yeah, and that's the same place the door is. Even the windows are the same. Yeah. Okay. So those windows right there are the same as these. So pretty sure that's it. You know, I was just watching. There's actually just drama channels doing shows tonight that do so much better than this one. Like 900 people watching just a drama show. You find, isn't that just sad? God. Thank you, Ashy Snow. Yeah, somebody would have. Let's see. So Freedy Drennan, a former investigator who worked on the case decades ago, thanked his successors for their persistence. I'm just glad that it was brought to a conclusion, Drennan told Fox 8. The Louisiana State Police said a statement, the breakthrough in the case is a testament to the advancement in forensic technology. Thank you, Scouting Dude.
Dog flag.
Yeah, I wonder, like, looks like there's a garbage place right back there. So, another one. And here's her Facebook page. You know, I don't know who these people are, but that's definitely her right there. And that's the same person. That's 2016. Yeah.
Not here for drama.
Probably just. God, how do they live with themselves? You know? How could anybody live with themselves doing that? Like they're just hanging out on Facebook and shit. Now here's something like a video from way back then.
Fleming lives close to the Hancock County
Can barely hear it.
County border. Quite often he rummages through garbage cans, collecting scraps to feed his animals. Last Wednesday he collected bags from the Mr. Gatti's restaurant dumpster in Picayune. 2 days later he opened one of the bags and found a dead newborn infant. Restaurant dumpster in Picayune. 2 days later he opened one.
Now let me just check. Yeah, I think that other building is the one that was there.
One of the bags and found a dead newborn infant.
Sitting on that box there. My face was that close to it. It's just like you seen a ghost. And to start with, I said, well, this is a little doll. I said, no, that's human flesh.
And thank you, Kathy Chapin, Scouting Dude, Ashy Snow.
According to an autopsy report, the baby only lived a few minutes.
The pathologist told us that the baby was born alive and probably lived only a few minutes after birth.
If you want me to.
I hope it haunts them forever.
Thanks, Caligo3. I mean, thank God. This is,
And was
got rid of
smothered by
these
being
idiots.
wrapped in the towel and placed in the plastic garbage bag.
Picayune police found a New Orleans newspaper and candy wrappers from stores in Gretna and Marrero, Louisiana, in the bag with the baby. Right now, they're questioning employees who worked near the dumpster to see what they saw last
I got your
Wednesday.
email, Jim.
It's an emotional case for everyone involved.
It's hard to put that in the back of your mind and go forward with the case and with an open mind and try not to think of the infant.
Pastors at Lee's Chapel Baptist Church will make sure that while the infant never was given the opportunity to live a proper life, she will have a proper burial. Her
What the hell
gravesite
is
will
it
be
you could
just a
watch?
few feet from Hayward Fleming's home.
I'm the type fellow would believe the same way it was a human body, fully developed, regardless of how it died. I feel it should have a proper burial too.
Somebody's got to see now that the woman is no longer pregnant. Has got to ask the question, you know, where's the child at? And that's who we need to hear from.
Funeral services for the child born April 15th are set for Saturday at 10:30 a.m. In Hancock County, Brad Kessie, Newswatch 13.
Well, there you go. Justice is coming. Let's see what this
Deanna mother and father behind bars. Investigators
WLOX,
linking their
links in the
DNA to a
description.
nearly 3-decade-old cold case. Andrew and Inga Carrier accused of smothering their child
That was one of my
and dumping
guesses.
its body in a dumpster. Jennifer Lott has been following this case closely and speaks with investigators about finally getting the answers they've been waiting for.
Since the early 90s, Picayune investigators have been trying to figure out the mystery of the child without a name, only known as Heaven's Angel on her headstone. Tonight, we show you how investigators spent decades.
Yeah, I have covered that, Lily, like 2 or 3 times. That was an interesting. That was the one where she was on a bike with her brother playing in Amber Hagerman. She was on a bike playing in like a little parking lot with a ramp on it. And this guy just came up and abducted her right in front of her brother, and there was even a witness who saw it. Yeah, we've covered it multiple times.
Unraveling the murder. It's a story WLOX first brought you back in 1992. You'll see some of the same video and interviews when this horrific story began.
April 17th, 1992. Started off as
Somebody finding a baby that's just been disposed of in a dumpster.
a newborn baby girl stuffed inside a trash bag,
What a
then
horrible-
thrown into this.
We were walking through it, and there it was, said Heaven's Angel, and on the, born April 15th,
See, look at Heaven's Angel, just like they have, and Daniel Armentrout. Looks like they're taking care of her.
It also took money. A donation
Oh,
to the
cool.
Mississippi
Matthew,
Bureau of
cool.
Investigation paid the near $10,000 cost
You like
for
it?
scientists to perform DNA genealogy testing.
No, Gray, I hate
We
it.
found out who the grandparents were of the baby and went from there.
We located the 4 children, and we're told, test those 4 children first. That would be your first step.
The results from the swabs leading to the arrest of this couple, Andrew and Inga Carrier. Detectives
She
say
probably thought, yeah, we're just gonna skate through life. Man, imagine if the pig farmer hadn't sort of looked in the bag first. Let's say it was at night and he just sort of dumped out what was in the bag in the pig pen. They would have never found anything. It would have been, you know what would have been absolutely horrible if that happened? It would have been so horrible because there would be no evidence that she even existed. This little girl. Right? I mean, just picture what would have happened had the pig farmer grabbed that trash, because it's normally just food in there, and let's say it was at night, he goes home and he just dumps it in the pig pen and he doesn't even look and he's just kind of doing his own thing. There would literally be no existence of that girl, only in the minds of these 2 killers right here. That's it. Wow. And I bet there's a lot of situations just like that out there. Oh wait, and I think I need to do the live chat. I knew I was missing. Yeah, there you go. What do you mean she looks like fetal alcohol syndrome? This lady's old. What are you talking about? It's not like this is the baby that lived. This is the baby that died. Yeah, they look like weird people. They look like inbred, wackos. I'm not sure what this guy is. He looks German. Looks like would have been in like a Nazi or something. I don't know if they had any more kids. Hope not. And I wonder if they were still married. I don't think they were because they lived in different places. Anyways, that's it. So good news. The killers are being brought to justice, and eventually there'll be a trial, and hopefully they serve the rest of their lives in prison. I don't give a damn if you've been Mother Teresa since then. Because if you consider yourself Mother Teresa, had a monster hiding inside you the whole time. And who knows if that monster will raise its ugly head again. So forget it. Poor you, Lori. You need a name like Wolf, Lori Wolf, or your last name Will doesn't sound too German. So offended. Oh, everybody has German in. Look at like. Almost everybody in the United States, Caucasian people, probably have some sort of German, something like that. People are just crazy. Oh, you're offending. Well, go to Ancestry.com, tell me all the different things that you are, and I'll try to offend every one of them. Okay. How's that sound? Well, I know you're being... like you're trying to be a Karen, right, Lori? Let's see. Yeah, shoebox German for sure, right? What's a buc? Isn't shoe like a shoe, like literally a shoemaker? Like there's shoemaker. Schumacher! He used to play for the German national team. He was the goalkeeper. Yeah. She looks a little like Thornburg. Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. I won't make fun of them. All right, we're going to go to another one now. 1966. Sharon McBride. That was just, the last one was just kind of a news story, but I like to go back in time to sort of, like here's the newspaper, and yeah, just sort of go from there. Good for you. Okay, forget it. Forget I said that most people have German. Okay, forget it. Forget I said it, okay? Because every Tom, Dick, and Harry's going to go, I don't have any German in me, Gray. Look, I'm this one. I don't care. Do you get it? It was just a rhetorical question. Or a statement. It had nothing to do with me wanting you to literally come out and tell me what you have. Okay? Right? It's bizarre. Hey, thanks, Eugenie. All right, this is Sharon McBride. Irish, maybe? Scottish? Okay, this is in Fresno, California. Just an absolute lovely town. Just a place that everybody wants to move to. I'm being sarcastic. All right, bride-to-be is slain. 25 knife cuts. The slashed body of a young woman identified as Sharon McBride. I do have everything mapped out in this one. Right, I just said Scottish, right? All right. It says, so I think she lived in these apartments right here. right here. Looks almost like a hotel. But lived in those apartments. I'm pretty sure that's the same. If I go down here and just kind of look over there, see how that, I mean, these look like they could be there since 1966. I mean, that is, there's nothing new whatsoever about that. But anyways, the slashed body of a young woman identified as Sharon McBride of 560 South Cedar Avenue was found early today lying at the edge of the road on Temperance Avenue near Floridora Avenue.
Reading wave, ocean wave.
So the body was found way over here east of town in this area. I'm sure back then it looked a little different. I mean, we could probably go back. Let's see what happens in 1998. More trees, and let's see what it looks like now. Yeah, I mean, look at the difference there. I mean, even though it's black and white, there's just a massive amount of change, way more buildings and homes. So her body was found somewhere out here, and you know, here are the main, I'll get rid of that, that has nothing to do with anything. The slashed body of a young woman identified as Sharon McBride of 560 South Cedar Avenue was found early today lying at the edge of the road on Temperance Avenue near Floridora Avenue. Deputy Coroner Alfred Dickinson said the woman, believed to be in her early 20s, was stabbed about 25 times. The wounds covered her body from her abdomen to her neck. The body was discovered about 2:30 a.m. by a passerby who reported it to the Clovis Police Department. Thank you, Jessica Schubach and Tosh up there. Let's see. The body was discovered about 2:30 a.m. by a passerby. Assistant District Attorney William Daly said the victim worked for the Tenderland Freezer Beef at 4595 East Jensen Avenue, and we are questioning fellow employees. Daly said letters found in a purse near the body indicated the woman was planning a June wedding. That's, you know, there's something that's got to be going on regarding, I mean, you would think something regarding the wedding at this point. Somebody really angry because you got, I mean, she's going to get married in just 1.5 months. So yeah, sometimes those things are coincidental, but like most of the time they're not. So, I mean, there's a good chance it's coincidental, but it's also a better chance that it's not coincidental, in my opinion. The letters were from a chapel in Carmel, Monterey County, and from commercial photographers in regard to wedding photos. Dickinson said there was no evidence she was sexually molested. So what's the motive then? He said the body was fully clothed. She was wearing blue capri and black sweater, white blouse, and black boots. The weapon used was a knife, Dickinson reported, but he said he could not describe its size. No weapon has been found. Captain Robert Somm of the Sheriff's Office said Miss McBride's purse contained $47 and she was wearing a wristwatch, ruling out robbery as a motive. And there was no sexual motive. So then it's got to be personal at that point, unless it's a serial killer who just wanted to kill, hates women and wanted to kill or something like that, right? Hey, thanks, Adniram. Which backwards says Marinda. Is that your real name? Dickinson said, besides the stab wounds, the woman had bruises on her neck, chin, forehead. At least one of the knife wounds severed an artery in her neck. Daly said there are indications the parents of the victim live in Burlingame, San Mateo County. The body was taken to Eastley's funeral home. All right, that was in newspapers.com. Then there was an article in on the Ancestry newspaper, the Genealogy Bank website. The savagely slashed body of a Burlingame girl who planned to marry in June was found beside a South Fresno road early yesterday. By the way, there is a picture of her out here. Mary McBride murder image. No, I don't think I said that right. Shannon. Jesus, Mary. God. Sharon, not Shannon. What was I looking at right there? Oh, that's her right there. There you go. So it's this lady right here. See, Sharon McBride on unsolved homicide. Right there. So Sharon McBride, about 20, had been stabbed 25 times, the coroner's office said. One of the multiple knife wounds had severed an artery in her neck, an autopsy showed. Others ranged from her abdomen to her head. Her neck, chin, and forehead were also bruised. The girl, the daughter of Carol Peterson of 1608 Coronado Way, Burlington, had lived in Fresno about 6 months. Assistant District Attorney William C. Daly said the body of the girl, an employee of a Fresno meat packing company, there's that meat packing company again, was fully clothed in blue capri, a black sweater, white blouse, and black boots. Her perch, which contained $47 and letters indicating her approaching marriage, was found near her body. Okay. Then that was on the 26th, then another one on the 26th. Sleuths. I think detectives were called sleuths back then. Not like the idiot web sleuths type people. not web sleuths, but the uber sleuths that, oh, hey, Gray, check this out. I was able to combine 16 different people, and their last names all start with the letter S. It's absolutely unbelievable. Don't you think that the letter S could have something to do with this case? Now, if you combine that with the colleges they went to and the last names of their ex-boyfriend's sister's cousin's dog, you will be absolutely amazed at what you'll find here. I mean, those are the emails you get there, like almost as if they're selling elixir of some sort at a carnival. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you can get your hair back just by smushing this goo on top of your head. Yes, you have a full set of hair again, and yeah, that's it, man. Expector. The letter S means they are German. Oh my God, maybe you're right. Like they're in the SS. German, you mean. I can never find that damn clown. It's right there. You click on the emojis and it's the third one in. Okay. Do you think so, Run Free? Do you think I should have been working at a I should have been a carnival barker? Sleuth check final hours of slain divorcee. Okay, now they're like, oh shit. You know, the first articles were like, okay, now they're going to try to disparage her a little bit. Listen, you guys. If you guys weren't divorced, who gives a crap? Like, nobody uses that anymore. Divorcee was murdered today. Who gives a shit if she was divorced? I mean, it's part of the story, but don't refer to her as that. You just say, a woman was murdered this afternoon. What does divorcee have to do with, I don't know. I mean, it definitely could have something to do with it, like whoever she divorced. But just put that in the story. Sheriff's homicide detectives are attempting to trace the last 2 hours of a young divorcee whose knife-punctured body was found early yesterday east of Fresno. The woman, Mrs. Sharon McBride, 24, of 560 South Cedar Avenue, was stabbed 23 times. Her fully clothed body was found on Temperance Avenue near Floridora Avenue at 2:30 a.m. yesterday. Sheriff Detective Sergeant Arthur Tabler and Detective Arthur Christensen reported the woman was with her fiancé, Russell Biondo of 560 South Cedar Avenue, until 12:30 a.m. Friday. Biondo and a friend said they left Mrs. McBride in a tavern. So her fiancé left her in a tavern at McKinley and Cedar Avenues. So I think that was this one. Okay, let's see. Let's change that because that's different than what I had. So Cedar. Yeah, there we go. So it's close to there. Alright, so it's not that one, it's right here. Biondo and a friend said they left Mrs. McBride in a tavern at McKinley and Cedar Avenue. Sheriff Melvin A. Wilmer said his officers are investigating to determine whether Mrs. McBride left the place with anyone. Wilmer said the victim was divorced from her husband, Woodrow Thomas McBride of Burlingame, San Mateo County. The couple has 4 children who are in the husband's custody. And she's 20? She's only 24? Man, that's unbelievable. 24 years old, has 4 children, and all the kids are with her husband. Tabler and Christensen said Mrs. McBride was a secretary for the Tenderland Freezer Beef at 4595 East Jensen Avenue. She came to Fresno about 2 months ago. Biondo is the manager of the meat firm. Biondo told the officers he and Mrs. McBride intended to get married in June. Her parents also live in Burlingame. Pretty weird. Yeah, I think they left because they got in a small argument or something like that. Victim's mother of 4, divorcee, was to remarry. Oh, how scandalous! Sharon McBride, the former Burlingame girl and one-time San Mateo resident, mysteriously slain in Fresno last week, was a divorcee who was about to remarry and the mother of 4 children. So I do think it's related to, likely related to that whole thing. You know, getting married and divorced, and, that's something. Who was about to remarry, and the mother of 4 children, now living with their maternal grandmother in Burlingame, Fresno County Sheriff's Office said today. They said, well, why are the kids living? I thought they were living with the father. Why would they be living with the grandmother? They said these facts do not appear to have any bearing on the case. However, and that no substantial clues have been developed. The murder victim, found at the edge of Temperance Road in Fresno on Friday, had been stabbed 25 times. Fresno Sheriff Captain Detective Robert Stom said officers are continuing to check on employees of the Tenderland Freezer Beef Plant where the ex-Mrs. McBride was employed. Sheriff's men said they had been told she and the owner of the freezer firm were considering marriage. Ah. Well, that's interesting. So it's the owner of the freezer firm where she works. That's the guy that she's going to get married to. Deputies have talked with Mrs. McBride's former husband, Woodrow T. McBride of San Mateo, and learned that she was the mother of 4 children who are now living with her mother. Well, how come? Mrs. David R. Peterson in Burlingame. So that's where the kids are staying. She married McBride in San Mateo on April 26, 1959. So she must have been like 17 years old. And the couple formerly lived at 111 North Kingston Avenue, San Mateo. A divorce complaint was filed April 29, 1965 at Alameda County Courthouse, and an interlocutory decree was granted on May 18th last year. Because a divorcee becomes final a year from the date the complaint papers are first served on interest parties, so that would have been... Well, that's kind of weird. So the year was almost up. Wow. So it was filed on April 29th, 1965. Because a divorce becomes final a year from the date the complaint papers are first served on interest parties, the final papers could have been obtained at any time since February 15th of this year. Final papers never were obtained, but it would have been quite possible for Mrs. McBride to have remarried in June, they said. Sheriff's officers are continuing to piece together the facts about Mrs. McBride, hoping to obtain a reason for her brutal murder. Meanwhile, funeral arrangements are being made at the Crosby North Gray Chapel in Burlingame. All right, you guys, we're getting this again. I wish I had like I was a coin operated thing, because it's like the husband didn't want to sign. I don't know. The divorce complaint was filed April 29th. Because a divorce becomes final a year from the date of the complaint. See, why did they say February down below when it's April 29th? I don't understand that part. And then a year later is April 29th, 1966. And this crime happened in March. So it wouldn't have been up yet. I'm not sure what they're talking about here. Because then down below it says, the final papers could have been obtained at any time since February 15th. Well, how come? Huh? New information developed by sheriff detectives reveals Mrs. Sharon. The title is "New Clue in Woman's Knife Death Turns Up." New information developed by sheriff detectives reveals Mrs. Sharon McBride, 24, was seen walking at East Belmont and North Cedar Avenues 2 hours before her body was found 6 miles away east of Fresno. Captain Robert L. Som reported witnesses said she was alone walking south, apparently towards her apartment. So that makes it seem a little bit less likely something, you know, like it could just be a random person. So she was seen right here walking, and she lived right there in these apartments. Oh, never mind. TTJO. We already went through it. It was a year. It said they had to wait a year. She filed the papers April 29th, 1965. The murder happened in March, so a year would have been April 29th of 1966. So I don't know why they put the word February in there. It made no sense whatsoever, and it wouldn't matter how you tried to explain it. Captain Robert L. Somm reported witnesses said she was alone walking south, apparently towards her apartment. Biondo told officers he left her in the tavern and went home. So a short time earlier, she was with her boyfriend, Russell Biondo, who also lives in an apartment at South Cedar address. They were in a tavern at North Cedar and East McKinley Avenue. Biondo told officers he left her in the tavern and went home. Officers said the couple had a slight misunderstanding. Come on, Tosh. I wish other people would help tonight. I mean, I feel bad that you're... But thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's pretty cool.
Through the newspapers and maps. Wave, ocean wave, ocean wave.
Well, thank you. I mean, I think Cali Gal 3 and Tosh are like 95% of the entire thing. I feel bad. But anyways, I appreciate your guys' support, but you know. Well, I know, Tosh. I mean, I'm just saying I appreciate it. I mean, it makes it seem more, you know, here's a problem that I have some nights. Like, if I have a night where we're, you know, there's 57 or 80, you know, 60 different people sent in 5 or 10 or something like that, it feels better than a night where you have 7 or 8 different people, and some of them are really big, but it makes you feel like, wow, that was almost sort of lucky. Like, if they weren't there that night, what would the numbers have been? You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm appreciative of nights like that making it through, but you sort of wonder, like, man, that's... Hey, thanks, Mary Cresley. Got you in there. Does that make sense? It makes it seem less stable when it's... I don't know. Anyways, Biondo, so the fiancé, the guy, he told officers he left her in the tavern and went home. Officers said the couple had a slight misunderstanding. See, that's a little bit of a red flag right there. Maybe the slight misunderstanding was, I'm not going to marry you. Witnesses said the divorcee... See, isn't that stupid? What do you mean? Witnesses said the divorcee. What does that have to do with anything? I mean, right now, I mean, in that sentence, why not just say her name, for God's sakes, you know? God, it's ridiculous. And you could say, where is that sentence? Yeah, witnesses said McBride left the tavern alone. Officers said they believe someone picked her up in the vicinity of the Belmont and Cedar, probably the killer. Anyone who saw Mrs. McBride in that vicinity or saw her get into a car should notify the sheriff's office. That is the only bit of new information the authorities have in the brutal knife slaying. Her body was found on Temperance Avenue, near Floridora Avenue. She had been stabbed 25 times. Mrs. McBride came to Fresno from San Mateo a few months ago. She was a secretary for the Tenderland Freezer Beef. That sounds so, Tenderland Freezer Beef? Thank you, Amy and Todd Stakely. Although, I was going to say a second ago, you know, the lesser the people, the more odds that the people who donated would win something at the end, right? I mean, yeah, freezer beef. Like it's just freezer you eat right out of the, I mean, beef you eat right out of the freezer, right? Like it's just, yeah. Like Tenderland freezer beef. And we don't put this beef anywhere else. It just goes right in the freezer. She was divorced from Woodrow McBride of San Mateo. He has custody of their 4 children, but apparently they're staying with her mom. Oh, and thank you, Jade, on PayPal, and also Tosh earlier today. I think I sent her an email. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Jade Rigsby on PayPal. Thank you. I love steak that's like medium rare. And the more rare, the more I like it. You know, it's just, I mean, I do like having a sauce too, like A1 or au jus or something on the side. Yeah, prime rib is probably the best. Yeah, with the fat on the side. I mean, if you could just eat the fat, that'd be great. That tastes so good. Right around the edges. Oh God, it's so good. I think medium rare is perfect. The more blood on the plate, the better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Good Lord, what? What are you, a vegetarian, Peter Mum? Or Peter Mum? Wow, that's so good. Right on the edges, right? You get people that eat prime rib know exactly what I'm talking about. It's right on the edge. Yeah, that's right. Medium rare filet with A1. Yeah, exactly. Worcestershire sauce. A1. I forgot the other one. Yeah, no surprise at all there, living in Eugene, huh? Hey, thank you, Amber Maiden. Ding, 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 ding.
Orange heart, blue heart, ocean wave, orange heart, blue heart.
Man, how do you guys? Let me ask you something. Are you guys vegetarian for philosophical reasons? Now, so you had to go vegetarian. Yeah, I could legally cook it. He said, Scouting Dude said, before I had to go vegetarian, I would get my steak as rare as could legally be, you know, or as the could legally cook it, as they could legally cook it. Yeah.
As rare as they could legally cook it.
Like just like this. Good night. Right? Like just here's an oven. Done. Yeah, it seems weird though. Like guess what, everybody? For those philosophically opposed, we actually have incisor teeth for eating meat. I know that sounds odd. We don't just have the nut crunching molars that orangutans and have, but we are supposed to eat meat. And then you might say, well, who are you to, you know, kill a cow to eat it? But who's a cow to live so I can't eat it? Come on. I mean, those damn things. Ask yourself this. What does a cow... I mean, cows were put here by God to eat. Those things do absolutely nothing. I mean, you put them out there, they walk around and just put holes in the ground and eat grass. I mean, good Lord, you know? Yeah. Yeah, factory farming, yeah. So would you, let me ask you this though, would you eat a deer, Ashy Snow, that was like somebody went out and harvested a deer from the forest? Well, good, Tosh. Yeah. What if you, wild boar, would you eat one of those? Some bacon off of a wild boar? Oh. But why wouldn't you, though? I mean, what makes you not want to eat it? I'm always curious about that one. Because it's like flesh from another animal or something? Man, it's making me not want to eat it. What do you mean it tastes horrible? What in the hell are you talking about? You've had wild boar, huh? Wow, you're an earthy chick and you watch my show? That's scary, man.
Hey, Allah, hey, Allah.
Namaste, man. Namaste. I think so too, man. We are meant to eat meat. Hence the incisor teeth for ripping meat. I know that sounds strange. Don't you feel strange? Ashy Snow? I'll go eat boar shot with... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know, you could just see Paul and them shooting it like a machine gun at their prey. Like, just mowing down as many boar as possible. Look at Gene Fish. That's pretty funny. I like all food. Meat, seafood, and cookies. That's actually pretty funny. Meat, seafood, and cookies. Oh, come on. Really, Tina? How many vegetarians are in here? Like, literally hardcore vegetarians. Like, you don't eat fish. You don't eat anything at all with... that are free. You know what? I don't even care. Just do what you want to do. I'm not going to. Secret witness post reward in 66 murder. A 2,500 secret witness reward was posted today for information leading to a conviction in the murder of 24-year-old Fresno woman. This is 1972, so it's 6 years later. The victim, Sharon McBride, was stabbed to death in the early morning hours of March 25th, 1966. She was last seen at about 12:30 a.m. on Cedar Avenue, north of Belmont. about 2 hours later, her body was found almost 6 miles away. I wonder if she hitchhiked. Lying alongside Temperance Avenue, 100 yards south. Oh, now I can get the precise location. "100 yards south of Florence Avenue." Okay. So now we can almost have this a precise measurement here. Yeah, so it's like right there.
Greg, did you get the email?
That's my email.
Hey Greg.
There it is.
Open your email.
You knew what? Let's go to Mel, like Mel's Diner. Everyone, let's go to Mel. What do you mean? I don't get it. You guys are still doing that, huh? Man, I never should have brought that up. Well, I think you guys are crazy for not eating meat, but hey, you know, whatever floats your boat. I think you're crazy for eating meat, you bastard. God, Gray, you just eat all those animals. They were just having fun walking around. Yeah. I mistyped my... Yep, doctor says no. So, oh, well, there you go. Well, that's a reason, Eugenie. But tell me, there aren't times where you're sitting around at home thinking to yourself, gosh, wouldn't a nice, juicy bite of prime rib taste great? But I won't do it because I can't. And the answer will be, no, not at all, Gray. They didn't say that, Sandra, in the article. Yet. Let me see what else is in this one. Died as the result of 23, so it's 23 or 25, we've heard a bunch of them, wounds in her body, face, and neck. Mrs. McBride, a divorcee who had moved to Fresno 2 months earlier from Burlingame, was an employee of the Tenderland Meat Company, then located at Cedar and Jensen Avenues. On the afternoon of March 24th, the firm closed early, and the manager took the employees to a bar, and that's her fiance, on First Street, where, according to investigators, they ate and drank heavily. Later in the evening, the group went to a restaurant on Blackstone Avenue, and later, yet some in the party went to a bar at Cedar and McKinley Avenues. An argument occurred there, during which Mrs. McBride walked out. Well, I thought they left her at the bar, so that totally is opposite of what we heard. The other one was that, the other story that we've read a couple times was that the fiancé and others left the bar and left her there. Nothing more was reported about her until her body was discovered. Officers said the victim appeared to have struggled during the attack, which caused stab wounds to be scattered over her body. Maybe she had defensive wounds. No sexual molestation was apparent, but the day's receipts from the meat company had been removed from her purse. Oh, yeah, well, that's sort of interesting. That's why they were looking at the meat packing. It almost makes you feel like... See, that's why I think the argument was a little bit more to it. I think it was maybe her saying she didn't want to get married. Anyone with any knowledge about the killing of Mrs. McBride can contact Secret Witness by phone or mail and in complete confidence. The informant's identity need never be revealed ever when collecting a reward. The number of secret witness private telephone, which does not go through. Anyways. Well, that's sort of an interesting thing. So the killer purposely looked through and took out her meat packing. Well, what do you mean? Meat company had been... No sexual was apparent. No sexual molestation. But the day's receipts from the meat company... Well, why would you have the day's receipts in your pocket? First of all, I mean, you just come home with all the receipts from where you work in your pocket? I don't get it. No, that's not it. Well, that's basically it. I mean, that's all there is on that one. I mean, they're so old, but they're sort of interesting in their own way. I mean, just think how crazy that is. You know, she's going to be getting married to the owner of the place where she works. She got divorced, or filed divorce papers on April 29th, 1965, and they were about to run out, and then she would have just been divorced because nobody contested it or something. And then she was out on this night, on I think it's on March 25th. They're out at various different places, ending up at a bar where she got in a fight with the guy that owns or the manager at least, of the place where she worked, the meat packing company. And that's her boss, and that's the same person she's getting married to. And they got in an argument, and there's two stories: that she stormed off, and the other one was that they left her there. So how can you get that wrong? Like, how does that change over time? That's something that seems so specific that you wouldn't get that messed up, but here we are with two different stories. So then she leaves, and either somebody picked her up, or I mean, I actually have a feeling that's possible that the fiance that she currently has, there was something going on with that, because then where her body was found, she was stabbed. The attack itself was completely personal. There was no sexual assault, nothing stolen. However, the person looked through and tried to find receipts. One thing that's sort of interesting about that is that, was there a stalker following her? Because now that I think about it, the killer might have taken the receipt that had his name on it out of the purse, and the rest of them were just on the ground there. Does that make sense? Yeah, so the killer was digging around knowing that they... Well, shit. Man, that makes it way more interesting. Let me go find the... where was the place that she worked again? There it is. So she worked at 459. So it's interesting how you put it back together. Once you go through it, things kind of pop into your head that make more sense of what they're suggesting in the article. So the meat packing company is right over here. So it was right there. So basically it was a... Oh, I get it now, by Billy Juliana. Mel, right, from... what was the show again? The Brady Bunch. Let's see. Tenderland freezer beef. Yeah, so it was probably you know, there's a regular place, a meat cutting place that you can go in and, right, yeah, from Alice. Yeah, Mel's Diner, right? Yep. Well, there was a show, Alice. Isn't that weird that there's a show called Alice that had a Mel's Diner? I remember that. But then remember how there was also, well, hell, I can't remember his name. What was the guy's name in Brady Bunch? Alice's boyfriend. He was like a meat cutter. Sam. Okay, never mind then. It was Sam. Never mind. Yeah, okay, so he was a meat cutter though. Okay. Yeah, so just think about it like this. This is a place that sells. McBride was a secretary for the Tenderloin Freezer Beef at 4595. Okay, so she's just a secretary. She's not out there selling. So somebody bought something there. And then they stalked her that evening, or, yeah, probably just that day. Man, that's crazy. And then, I mean, it's possible that that's what happened. And then when she was trying to walk home, this person said, hey, because she would recognize him, right? Hey, wow, I just happened to be driving around. I bought some meat from you guys today. Or I made a purchase of meat. Remember me? And she go, oh yeah, hey, do you need a ride? Sure, I'll give you a ride. Then he takes her, but what's weird, let me ask you this though. Say what's weird about it, there was no sexual assault or anything stolen. So what would be his motive then? And then, like the killer knew her because they were trying to get the receipt, and they likely found the receipt and took it, and there's no proof that that person ever saw her. Huh. Yeah. No, I think it means back in 1966, you're talking about like the actual receipts of people buying things that day. Yeah, probably just a regular cash register thing, and yeah, butcher. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, like a. Well, why would the fiancé kill for that reason, Eugenie? I mean, it's possible they got in a fight, like I was saying, but why was the killer only interested in what was in the receipts of her purse, not the money that was in there, or anything else? Mm-hmm. The fiancé wanted to keep her quiet about what? Oh, come on. Jesus. Come on, you guys. Come on, J.P. Williams. Jesus. I mean, come on. Are you guys aliens? She discovered 2 sets of books, mafia, drugs. I mean, come on. We don't do that shit over here. There's nothing indicating that at all. You sound like a lunatic, all right? It's just your mind is so wildly thinking that you couldn't come up with something rational. Maybe. Well, I don't know. I think maybe it was just the receipts themselves, I guess. I don't know. I mean, she is the secretary. She may have been taking them home to do books or something later. I mean, we don't really know what was going on there. It is 1966. God. Have you thought of the angle of it possibly could be CIA connected? Perhaps the boyfriend was looking into ancient artifacts based off of the items found at the Roswell incident. And perhaps from those alien spacecrafts, they were able to glean that he had, yes, MK Ultra, sure, all those different things. Oh yeah, Anadarko oil. Yep, forgot about that one. She discovered 2 sets of books, mafia and drugs. Man, how does your eyes, your brain get so over imaginative like that? Right. Okay, JP. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's got to be it. Yeah, so at the bar, they were arguing about the books. And so the guy went over and took one purchase out of the whole thing. Because that was the one that would have given it away. And he had to kill her to silence her. Well, you can disagree all you want, J.P. Williams, but your theory is so far fetched, it's ludicrous, okay? I never said that was more likely. I think that's a better example than yours. Your example was ludicrous, almost idiotic in a way. The fact that the person was looking... there was only the receipts from the business on the ground that were on the ground. It makes it seem like the person was looking through there to find a specific receipt. Okay? And she was killed, and there is no other... there was no sexual assault or robbery wasn't the motive. Okay? So you can say what you want, but your theory up there about, oh... that was these books and all this stuff with no information whatsoever to indicate any of that. There was not one mention in the articles about it. There was nothing. It's completely imaginated information that you came up with. That's why it's different than what I said. I used actual information that was in the stories. Yeah, but it's a reasonable inference. Yeah, right. The stalker part, sure. Yep. Except it's based on rational thinking that the receipts were on the ground and nothing else was stolen or anything. Now, my original theory was that it's the fiancé had something to do with it. The small argument wasn't small. Yeah, I know, JP Line. It's just your theory was dumb, so that's all I can say. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do your little passive-aggressive bullshit. Did they take all the receipts, Gray? No, didn't sound like it. They said they were scattered on the receipts were removed from the purse. What was the wording again? It said, on the afternoon of March 24th, the firm closed early and the manager took the employees to a bar. Later in the evening, the group went to a restaurant. There was an argument occurred there during which Miss McBride walked out. Well, the other stories were that they left her there. Nothing more was reported about her until her body was discovered. The officer said the victim appeared to have struggled during the attack, which caused the stab wounds to be scattered over her body. No sexual... scattered over the body. No sexual molestation was apparent, but the day's receipts from the meat company had been removed from her purse. So I guess all of the receipts were removed. So the person just grabbed them and took off. No, he took them all. It said all the receipts were taken. Yeah. I think she had the day's receipts from the till. Right, because she was going to do books or something later. So there might have been somebody. So somebody killed her for a reason, right? No, it doesn't mean that, Tracy, because they said nothing was stolen other than the receipts out of her. Why do you guys keep saying... No, it doesn't say including cash. It doesn't say that. It just says, no sexual molestation was apparent, but the day's receipts from the meat company had been removed from her purse. Anyone... but the thing is, in earlier articles, they said nothing was stolen. Okay? They said nothing was stolen. There was $47 in her wallet, and there was also... She had expensive rings on. Or some jewelry. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be the, if it's all the receipts, it changes it a little bit. I thought there was just receipts on the ground or something, and they wanted to take, like, you couldn't tell what was missing from it. But it sounds like all of the receipts were taken. So you guys think that receipts means all the money too, even though earlier they said robbery wasn't the motive? And if it wasn't the motive, then why would all the receipts be taken? If it was money, I mean, if robbery wasn't the motive, how would they know that if the cash deposit receipts were removed? You know, I don't think that's what it was. But a receipt also means a receipt, like the actual piece of paper, right? Now I gotta go. Daly said letters found in a purse near the body indicated the woman was planning a June wedding. The letters were from a chapel in Carmel, Monterey County. Dickinson said there was no evidence she was sexually molested. He said the body was fully clothed. She was wearing blue capri, black sweater. The weapon used was a knife, Dickinson reported, but he said he could not describe its size. No weapon has been found. Captain Robert Somm of the sheriff's office said Miss McBride's purse contained $47 and she was wearing a wristwatch, ruling out robbery as a motive. Okay, see right there? Ruling out robbery as a motive. If they had known that, oh yeah, all of the money was taken from her, they couldn't rule out robbery. You know, I mean, that could have just been what the person wanted. All the receipts, money. Let's see if you can please, yeah, that's me, I'm writing. If you can please support the channel. Yeah, by the way, we're back in one of those lulls again. We get those quite often when we're doing these types of stories. Parents of the victim live in Burlingame. Okay. I don't think there's much different. Let me see this one. This might have also had. Uh-oh, what? The girl, the daughter of Carol. The purse which contained 47 and letters indicated her approaching marriage was found near her body. Yeah, so they didn't mention how all the receipts were missing, but who would know that too? So the manager, her fiance, would also know that the receipts are missing because nobody else probably even knew she had them on her. See? Yeah, I said that, Cindy. Yeah. It could all be bonds. Yeah, could be all. Yeah, who knows what it is? So, anyways, we're going to move on now to a different story. I don't have much more to add to that one. No, not business docs, just receipts. I was answering your rhetorical question. Thanks, Ashy Snow. Pretty dressed down for 1960. I don't know. 1960s is old. Maybe 1950s, but. Looking for a free and easy way to support the channel? Hit the thumbs up. That's okay. It's alright. No worries. Yeah. Just reading. Yeah, it's either somebody who had just bought something that day and there was information that would have revealed who they were. We don't know. Well, we may not can solve this one tonight. We may not can. Was the 60s cash checks I used, no credit cards, etc. Yeah. Right. I don't think anybody thought that there was credit cards. Yep, it's never solved. It's from 1966. See, a lot of these, they just kind of, they just sort of forget about it. You know, just, Somebody touched that purse, though. Or whatever it was, you know, if her purse had the receipts in it, I don't know. But somebody touched something on her body. So hopefully they kept something of that she was wearing or had with her. I doubt it, though. 1966, they weren't even... It's totally different back then. Yeah, I mean, the divorcee part, but, you know, you gotta think it's pretty strange that the person just took the receipts from where they work. So it almost seems like somebody was looking to get those. I mean, 25 stab wounds, though, sounds like really angry at that person. Mm-hmm. Okay. Time to move on to the next one. Yeah, all I could find, I mean, this is from 1971, and it's a missing person case. And the first article where her name was even mentioned that I could find, this is in, hold on, Vancouver, Washington. Yeah, it could be fiance. I mean, all the things, there's always a chance for something. You know, when people go, oh, here's a theory. Yeah, I mean, everything's possible. You know? Like, you know, JP up there talking about, oh, it could be, you know, 2 sets of books and they were trying to, you know. Who knows? It's just, I mean, there's a million different things that you could come up with and go, not a million, but a lot. And it'd be, you know, I don't know. This isn't one of those things. Like, what I like to do when I speculate is just to use something that was in there to indicate something. Now, whether it was a stalker or not, now that we know that all of the receipts were taken, that seems less likely. If it was like a stack of receipts on the ground and they were rifling, it appeared that they were rifling through them and they're just sitting around, you might think that they took one to conceal their identity, and it might even still be that by grabbing all of them. But like, I mean, so when she was walking, I'd like to know what time the witnesses say that they saw her leave the bar, and then what time she was seen walking alone on the street. And does it make sense then that her boss would have done something? It could have just been somebody else that she worked with. I don't know, Cindy, that's a long time ago. I guess I could look. Let me see what his name is. I bet you he'd be like 90 years old at this point. Oh, Biondo. Alright. This is in Fresno. Hold on. $85. And guess where he lives now? the classic thing that I always tell you. Guess where he lives now, everybody? Just take a guess. No. No. He lives in Massachusetts. He lives about as far away as you could possibly go from there. And that's almost always how it works. And 85 makes sense. That means he was about 30 at the time. Don't see a criminal record. Yeah, so he's been married and had kids and grandkids and everything. He's apparently he's still let's see. He's still kicking out there. He was born 1938, so he was 28 at the time. But you do see that often, right? Somebody does something and they move about 3,000 miles away. It's crazy. All right, you guys, if you're interested in helping support the channel, please consider using the PayPal and super chats, whatever. And then at the end of the month, during the month, I'll take part of that money myself because I want to, and send it into various charities. And I also spend, like today was a different kind of day. I had to do the stuff, put together the cases last night, and then a little bit of time when I got here to do another one. But because I wanted to try to get out and play golf. It's been 5 weeks since I played the last time. Yeah, I hate daylight savings time. What time is it? Sorry for my bot messages. I didn't just type those in right after I said that. Maybe one would be good. So anyways, this is a case. This is her right here. Jamie Grissim. And this is 1980. This happened in 1971, but she just disappeared. Thank you, Wendy Johnson. And I'm still also selling the notebooks too. For $25, you get the 2 pens in the notebook, and you know, got about 35, 40 left. Human bones found late last month near Chalachi Prairie are not those of a 16-year-old girl missing since 1971. We have no idea who it is, he said. Dental records showed that the bones were not those of Jamie Grissom. Alright, so that's first. That was the only article that I could find anytime before. And then there's 2009 article. Search for teens remains unsuccessful. This is 2009, so this happened in 1971. I mean, we're looking at 38 years later. I don't get it, Katie. About 35 volunteers and several members of the Clark County Sheriff's Office searched on Sunday east of Yakult for the remains of Jamie Grissom, who was last seen in December of 1971. No remains were found. The 5-hour effort also was part of a training exercise. The search was led by Detective Rick Buckner. The area searched is off Dole Valley Road. So again, they're just looking for her. They haven't found her. And then 2011, April 13th. We don't know the story yet, but let's see if we can finally. Parole officials interview convicted killer, Warren Forrest. I think he's a serial killer. A state sentencing board, and this guy I think was mentioned in another case that we looked at. A state sentencing board on Tuesday continued its probe into whether a convicted killer from Vancouver, suspected of slaying several women in the 1970s, should be paroled. A panel of 2 from Washington Indeterminate Sentence Review Board interviewed Warren L. Forrest at Stafford Creek Correction Center in Aberdeen. The interview was the final step in the process to determine whether Forrest, now 61, has shown significant signs of rehabilitation. Thanks, Amy and Todd Stakely. The Columbian does not have details about Tuesday's meeting as it was not public. The board is expected to make a decision in 4 to 6 weeks. If it decides in favor of Forrest, he could be paroled in 2014. But that outcome looks doubtful. After talking to board members, I'm pretty sure he's not going anywhere. Let's see. They told me yesterday that they'd take very seriously what he's done. Laura testified on Monday in Lacey before parole board decrying Forrest's possible release. Her 16-year-old sister, Jamie Grissom, was believed to be one of Forrest's first victims, according to 1970 police reports. Forrest, an Army veteran and former Clark County Parks employee, was the suspect behind the disappearance of 6 young women in Clark County between March 1972 and October of 1974. He was convicted of one of the homicides and received a life sentence. His conviction, however, left open the possibility of parole. Robin Riley, assistant to the Washington Indeterminate Sentence Board, said an outright release is not likely and that the board would first consider a less restrictive prison or work release program. And if he was paroled in 2014, he would first have to enter a prison program. Jesus. I think there's a breakdowns of what happened. There's no articles at all. First vigil for women missing 40 years. Jamie Grissom, this is in the Olympian, went missing in Vancouver 40 years ago. She's about to get her first vigil. The Columbian newspaper reported that Grissom's sister, was joining relatives and friends of another long-missing Vancouver woman, Carolyn Killaby, in planning a vigil for the pair next weekend. Grissim was a 16-year-old student when she disappeared while walking home from school December 7, 1971. Authorities believe she was the first victim of a Vancouver man suspected in the deaths of at least 6 women. Her purse was found about a mile from the remains of 2 other young women. Killaby was 34 when she went missing in 1995. Dennis Keith Smith was convicted of aggravated murder after traces of her blood were found in his vehicle. The cases aren't related, but Grissim's sister, Laura Starr, is a friend of one of Killaby's sisters. They say they hope to someday find remains so they can give their pair proper funerals. So I think this might actually tell the story right here. So those are just articles that were in the papers over the years that I could find. The story is part of a collaborative project between Project Cold Case and University of North Florida journalism class. Star Laura and her sister Jamie loved to watch The Wizard of Oz, and together they always tried to watch its annual showing. Jamie also loved to ride horses and chew on lemons. Lemon pie was her favorite. The 2 sisters grew up in Vancouver, Washington, and traveled between foster homes. They were placed in their first foster home when they were 3 and 4 years old. They landed in their final foster home over a decade later. One chilly December day, Jamie didn't come home one. That was 50 years ago. Star and Jamie never watched The Wizard of Oz together again. Jamie's belongings were found in the woods 5 months later. Police and her family believe she was murdered, but her case has never been solved. In the woods 5 months later. Their foster mother, Grace, had already been a widow for 10 years before young Jamie and Star came into her life. The sisters stayed with Grace at her small farm a few years before, but had moved and then returned. The farm had cows, chickens, ducks, and a dog, a few cats, and a garden. Berry fields were close by, probably blackberries, and the family would get fresh milk from dairy down the road. The milk was still warm when they delivered it. This would be the last place the girls lived together, and they were happy there. The Grissim sisters loved to celebrate Thanksgiving together, and it was their favorite holiday. Grace was a great cook, and on Thanksgiving she made homemade potato rolls. We would eat like a whole pan by ourselves, Star recalled with a laugh. They were so good. Jamie was creative. She was an artist and loved to draw faces, and she was very good at putting on eyeliner. I used to watch her, but I could never put on eyeliner like her, Star said. It was just like perfection. Jamie had beautiful cursive writing. She read and wrote poetry in her free time. Star admired her older sister and wished she was as talented with a pencil. Star and Jamie often took a short walk to their friend Donna Ayer's house after school to hang out. The 3 became close friends. Donna said they mainly spoke about school and boys, as most teenage girls do when they hang out together. I think some of these stories, when they don't have a lot of details about the case, they kind of just tell us about them, you know, in the Project Cold Case. Jamie was always very outgoing and bubbly. She had a very bubbly personality and always seemed happy, even though her circumstances might not have been. She was just a free spirit. I don't think she let a lot bother her, and if she did, she didn't show it. And she always protected her sister. they were very close. On December 7th, 1971, Jamie was expected to be home after school between 1 and 1:30. She only had 2 classes that day. When Starr walked off the bus at 4:30, she immediately noticed that Jamie wasn't around. Authorities originally believed that Jamie was a runaway. While they took an initial report that night, it would be 30 days later that an official missing person report was filed. It was really difficult, Starr recalled. One day she was there, and the other she wasn't. Starr knew that her sister was dead the moment they found her belongings without Jamie anywhere in sight. Her murder has not officially been solved, but it does not remain a mystery. Starr received the crime synopsis for her sisters 40 years after the incident. At that point, the police told Starr they believe a suspected serial killer from the area, Warren Forrest, murdered Jamie. His known victims match Jamie's physical description, but there's not enough evidence to try him for the murder. Starr struggled for years after her sister's death. She began to rebel by running away from home. She had a son in high school and went to college for a year and a half, but she didn't finish her degree until 2010. Through the years, she has never stopped fighting for justice her sister deserves. Starr has advocated persistently for Jamie's murder to be solved. In 1974, Forrest was convicted of murdering 19-year-old Crystal Blake, and he received a life sentence with a chance of parole. Starr was attended every parole hearing and has spoken before the parole board. She learned about remains that were unidentified but were found close to her sister's belongings. She always hoped they were Jamie's. However, police said the dental records indicated the remains were not those of Jamie. Starr continued to ask that the remains be tested for DNA to identify her. Later, a police officer told her the remains had been lost. Really? God. I just felt like the detectives kicked me in the stomach because for over 30 years, I held out hope she could be my sister. Reporter Dan Tilkin of KOIN 6 News in Oregon found the last place the remains were sent and passed the information to the Star. She then reached out to Dr. Snow, the medical examiner at the time. He was 83 years old when she called, but he remembered the remains. Snow said he would find a copy of the FedEx he sent back with the remains. Starr presented the FedEx letter to the current medical examiner, who said she needed time to search for the remains. A couple of months later, the remains were found mixed into another victim's evidence. After over 30 years, they finally found the remains, but testing showed they belonged to Martha Morrison. Forrest was charged with Morrison's murder in January 2020. So this is another one of his victims. God. His trial is scheduled to begin in 2022. If convicted, he'll face a life sentence. Let's see what happened. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. So that's her. And what was his name again? Forrest. Warren Forrest was matched to Morrison through DNA testing. Wow, really? Jesus. So they found, so that's Warren Forrest. Wow, that's crazy. How would they link him? In August 2017, a blood stain on a pistol owned by a longtime suspect, Warren Forrest, was matched to Morrison through DNA testing. Wow, that's crazy. Prior to Forrest's identification as a suspect, serial killer Ted Bundy and Randall Woodfield had been considered a person of interest. Huh. Wow, that's crazy. Forrest was charged with Morrison's murder in January 2020. His trial is scheduled to begin in 2022. Short of him telling the truth, because her remains were never found, the closest thing I can get to justice is seeing him convicted of Martha's murder. Unless they find Jamie's remains and charge him, which is really far-fetched. Oh, well, that just happened. Suspected serial killer Warren Forrest found guilty in slaying of teen Martha Morrison nearly 50 years ago. This is February 3rd, 2023, which is, 5 weeks ago. Is that crazy or what? Suspected serial killer Warren Forrest was found guilty by a Southwest Washington jury for slaying 17-year-old Martha Morrison of Portland, Oregon, nearly 50 years ago. After about 90 minutes of deliberation Wednesday, the Clark County jury found Forrest guilty of first-degree murder. Wonder what other evidence they had on there. Morrison remains were discovered October 12, 1974, by members of a hunting party in densely wooded area of Dole Valley in eastern Clark County. The remains weren't identified until 2015, when her DNA was discovered on the grip of a dart gun found at Forrest's home. What, he drugged people with that? The Oregonian prosecutor filed the murder charges against Forrest in late 2019. During closing arguments Wednesday, Clark County prosecutor Lauren Boyd said the DNA breakthrough, along with Forrest's pattern of abducting, abusing, and leaving young women for dead in rural Clark County in 1974, was enough to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he had acted on a plan to kill Morrison. It's not a mistake that Martha's blood is on the grip of this gun. There's no other explanation for that except that the defendant is her killer. Wow. I like these ones where you sort of go on a tangent and then you get an answer. Yeah, so there's the Charlie Project. Yeah, it's the same. That other article had pretty much all that in there. Crazy. All right. Well, let's see. How long have I been on here? I was playing golf. Today I'm sort of tired. It's only been 2 hours, but as you can see, the reading of cold cases has plummeted the enthusiasm. So what time is it really? Well, what time is it really right now? Well, it's actually earlier. It's 7:56. Although I think I got to get to this last one since it was on yesterday too. All right, got to do it. Yeah. So Holly Seiler, unsolved homicide victim. I mean, I know you guys feel pretty certain that Jamie Grissom was killed by Warren. Hey, it's almost like a serial killer Sunday. But we're in this really slow mode right now, so we're gonna need. Right now, we're not even at the notebook level. So it'd be great if enthusiasm for cold cases. Yeah, well, there you go again, Tosh. Thanks. Yeah.
Enthusiasm for cold cases. Ocean wave.
No, thanks. Your Gypsy. Wait. On there for PayPal. Thank you. Get in there. Awesome. Thank you, Cup of Joe. Well, it's actually Scout and Dude gave me a Cup of Joe, but thank you.
Cup of Joe.
Yeah, you can send me email with a case. I don't like when people send me an email with 75 links and all their research. Then you present it somewhere. You know, I like to just look it up my own. If I find all the stuff that you found, great. If not, then it's just the version that I told. But as long as it gets out there, that's good. So Holly Seiler was October 20th, 2016. Oops. No, I don't want anything to whet an appetite. I just want a link. That's it. A name and a date. Yeah. I don't need all that stuff. I look it up, and if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Yeah, I've done Morgan Nick. Yeah. Wasn't that with the red truck? Yeah. Like 3 times. Alright, I'm gonna go take a break for a minute. I got some hot chocolate. Hey, thanks. Keeping it real. I'm just heating it up right now. It's in one of those little machines that spins around. Yeah, we're gonna have to get through this one. kind of... Yeah, definitely, that's it. That's pretty weird. Okay. I'm just finding the house really quick. I just saw it. Just killing time while I gotta go get my hot chocolate. Da, 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 da. Oh, there we go. Yep, there we go. You guys ready? Did you hear the little beep in the background? What? You don't? I don't burn my mouth? It was a little hot. Alright, here we go. Police probe fire as name of woman who died is disclosed by a relative. The woman whose body was found after a house fire Thursday morning was Holly A. Bell, also known as Holly Seiler, according to her former sister-in-law. Louisiana Carol told the Buffalo News that the victim died in a fire in her bedroom. What is it? Where is this located? Yeah, it's in New York. And that her body is to undergo an autopsy at Erie County Medical Center in Buffalo. Carol said the woman was divorced from her husband, Caleb Bell, who now lives in Rochester and was living at 605 East High Street with her boyfriend, Tom Anderson. The victim had a Facebook page as Holly Seiler, which apparently was her maiden name. Is that still on out there? Let's see. Holly Seiler. Yeah, I don't see it right away. I mean, there's a bunch of Holly Sealers. Lockport Fire Chief Patrick K. Brady said the damage was confined to one room on the second floor of the large two-family house across the street from Roy B. Kelly Elementary School. Its cause has not been determined. Brady said evidence from the scene has been collected and sent to a laboratory for analysis. The matter is under police investigation, he added, and he did not know the type of evidence. The police department has so far released no official information on the case. Brady said the damage from the fire was estimated at $6,500 to the structure and $15,000 to its contents. Firefighters were on the scene for about an hour and 40 minutes, he said. 3 neighbors, all of whom declined to be identified, said police have been to High Street address several times in the last 6 months, but they were not able to say why. Holly Bell acquired the house from Caleb Bell in 2008, according to police records. Carol said the woman was retired, so Holly Bell acquired the house from Caleb Bell. Is that the divorce from her husband, Caleb? Oh, wow. So she got the house from him in 2008, according to public records. Carol said the woman was retired from a job at Dunlop and tire and rubber company. So how old was she? This house, 605 East High Street in Lockport, is where the body of a woman identified by a former sister-in-law, so the sister of her ex-husband, as Holly A. Bell, was found Thursday after a bedroom fire. A bedroom fire, huh? So it's that house right there. Kind of a nice house. Kind of in a... I wouldn't want to live at a place with that much traffic moving around, but... I mean, if somebody gave me that, shit, I'd move there. You know? Hey, thanks for thinking of me, keeping it real. Keeping it real. Yeah, it is pretty nice. If that was anywhere near here, it'd be like $1 million, that house right there. I mean, that is New York, so it might be... And there's that elementary school they were just talking about. Although you would think the prices in Portland would just keep plummeting. My nose is plugged again. Man charged with arson at home where mom died. Oh, and guess who it is? Caleb Bell. Oh, man. This guy, jeez. This is ridiculous. What do you mean at where mom died? Lockhart, I didn't even realize. Okay, Lockport police arrested a man on an arson charge Wednesday in connection with a fire Tuesday night at the home where his mother was found dead. Okay, so it's his mother? Now I gotta go back because I'm confused. The woman whose body was found Thursday morning was Holly Bell, also known as Holly Seiler, according to her former sister-in-law. Louisiana Carol told the Buffalo News that the victim died in a fire. Carol said the woman was divorced from her husband, Caleb Bell, who now lived in Rochester. So what is this saying? Now it's saying connection with the fire Tuesday night at the home where his mother was found dead. Caleb Bell Jr. Oh, is that the son of Caleb Bell? Now I gotta go back. He wasn't a junior, right? Yeah, it was just Caleb Bell. So that must be the son. Yeah, I just said that, Susan. Just let me work through it, thanks. Yeah, and the previous fire... Okay, so Caleb Bell Jr., 34, the son of Holly Seiler, there you go, was... next sentence, if I just read the next sentence. But it still would have been confusing until I realized that that's actually just a junior. Was charged with third-degree arson in connection with the blaze shortly before 6 p.m. Tuesday at 605 East High Street. In the previous fire, the homeowner, Seiler, 54... Wait, in the previous... What do you mean in the previous fire? What are we talking about here? What? This is October 21st, 2016. Arrested a man on arson charge Wednesday in connection with a fire Tuesday night at the home where his mother was found dead. An October 20 fire. Caleb Bell Jr., 34, the son of Holly Seiler, was charged with third-degree arson in connection with the blaze shortly before 6 p.m. Tuesday at 605 East High Street. In the previous fire, the homeowner, Seiler, 54, was found... What? This is another fire? There's like two fires. Am I not reading this right? Okay, let me just try it one more time. Lockhart police arrested a man on an arson charge Wednesday in connection with the fire Tuesday. So there's a fire. This article's on a Thursday, so that means it was November 8th in this one. And this story is October 21st. So it's found dead. Okay, and it says Tuesday night at the home. So he set another fire at the home. Oh, I see. So his mother was killed before in a house because of fire. And then he set another fire at the same house. What the hell? Jesus. Caleb Bell Jr., 34, the son of Holly A. Seiler, was charged with third-degree arson in connection with the blaze shortly before 6 p.m. Tuesday at 6:05. So the same house that Caleb's mother died in a fire, he's been charged with setting another fire there on November 8th. Is he trying to cover something up? Wow, that's crazy. In the previous fire, the homeowner Seiler, 54, was found dead following a 3:30 a.m. fire in her second-floor bedroom. Police have not publicly revealed the cause of Seiler's death, but no charges have been filed. Bell, who also lived at 605 East High Street, was arrested at 2 a.m. Wednesday after Bell's sister told police that she found the house reeking of gasoline, and Bell admitted to moving some gas cans right before the fire was discovered. At a city-county arraignment on Wednesday, Judge William Watson ordered Bell held in the county jail without bail on the arson charge to await the assignment of a defense attorney. Tuesday's fire was reported at 5:53 p.m., and it may have been started on the first floor or in the basement, almost directly beneath the bedroom where Seiler died. The Tuesday fire was at first reported as a natural gas leak, Fire Chief Patrick K. Brady said in a news release. While a fire truck was on the way, dispatchers amended the call to one of a working house fire. They must have been weird for them to be at the same house within 3 weeks. In statements to police, Bell's sister and a man she had dinner with said they returned to the house at about 5:20 p.m. and smelled gasoline. Crystal Bell, 24, told police that she saw the cellar door was open and it was reeking of gasoline smell. I unlocked my door to my house, and as soon as I opened the door to my house, I could smell it even more coming from inside. Crystal Bell told police she had noticed Caleb Bell Jr.'s bedroom window was open and there was a fan in the window. She stepped back outside and looked into the bedroom window and saw him sitting on the bed staring into space. Crystal explained how the gasoline smell, and she heard her brother replied, "Oh, I don't know. I moved the gas cans." A few minutes later, Crystal Bell said her brother left the house with his dog and placed it into a truck, then went back into the cellar. Seconds after that, she told police she heard Caleb Bell Jr. say, "A fire!" and she saw huge flames coming from the living room. The man Crystal Bell was with, Bashan A. Wright, 23, told police he saw Caleb Bell Jr. go into the basement twice, staying for 2 to 3 minutes each time. He said Caleb Bell Jr. went back into the basement after saying there was a fire, but he and Crystal Bell drove away for fear there would be an explosion. Fire crews were able to quickly bring the fire under control and extinguish it. Police and fire investigators then spent several hours combing through the wreckage in a search for evidence on how the fire started. Well, I think I just did that one. Yeah. Suspect ruled incompetent in fire fatal to his mother. Caleb E. Bell Jr., who was charged with setting a fire November 8th in the Lockport house where his mother died in a blaze the previous month, was ruled mentally incompetent to stand trial for arson. State Supreme Court Justice John L. Mikulski signed an order committing Bell 34 to a state mental institution for a year or until treatment makes him competent. Niagara County Assistant District Attorney Doreen M. Hoffman said 2 of the 3 psychologists who examined Bell deemed him incompetent. Bell is the son of Holly A. Seiler, 54, who was found dead after a fire broke out in her second-floor bedroom at 605 East Street in Lockport about 3:30 a.m. October 20th. No charges have been filed in connection with that death. Witnesses told police that on November 8th there was a strong odor of gasoline coming from inside the house before the first-floor living room erupted in flames. Bell was a resident of the house. Attorney says police accuse suspect of attempting suicide. Lockport police apparently believe that Caleb E. Bell Jr. was attempting suicide when he allegedly set fire to his home November 8th, but defense attorney Brian Hutchinson said the claim is questionable. Hutchinson said Bell denied repeatedly in a 5-hour interview that he set fire at 605 East High Street, but at booking, Hutchinson said Bell made a vague comment caught on tape that led police to conclude he was trying to kill himself. Bell's mother, Holly Seiler, was found dead after October 20th fire. Alright. Moving through the articles here. Man admits setting fire to home where his mom previously died. Caleb E. Bell Jr. admitted Monday that he set fire to the Lockport house in which his mother had died. Bell, 35, pleaded guilty in Niagara County Court to third-degree arson for the November 8, 2016 blaze that heavily damaged the interior of the house at 605 East High Street. Bell poured gasoline on the first floor of the house and lit it. Assistant District Attorney Doreen M. Hoffman said Bell's case was delayed for several months as he was temporarily committed to a state mental institution. By the way, do you guys see what I'm talking about every time I do these cold case reading old stories? What happens when, in terms of, because one of the big things that we do on this channel is on a nightly basis I raise funds to help support what I'm doing, and then I give a ton of money back as well. And every time I do these, I've been trying really hard to make it so we could kind of do what we used to be doing. But you can see how there's like these hour-long things where, you know, I'm not like, you would think, like when you go to Starbucks, you probably tip the person something. I do these for 3 hours long, and I guarantee, and there's people that, I don't know. I'm not sure what makes these not as interesting, or the enthusiastically supporting. When I do cases where it's like, you know, the bells and whistles shit, it's totally different, and it shouldn't be like that. Don't you agree? Yeah, that's what I thought. Lacquer, man to serve. He's going to serve 5 to 10 years here. Caleb E. Bell Jr., who started at a fire in his mother's home less than 3 weeks after she was found dead following another blaze there, was sentenced Monday to 5 to 10 years in state prison. It's a long sentence. If it was really just an arson, you know, like he's just burning his own house. Bell, 35, said he was planning suicide. Oh, now he's saying that. When he poured gasoline in the house. But why, though? His mother, Holly Seiler, 54, was found dead in a second-floor bedroom after the first fire, October 20th, 2016. Well, what difference does it make if they're better or not? I'm just saying it's, you know, it's weird. You know, you have 370 people watching, which is more than what we used to have on a general night, and I just think it's odd, you know. I mean, we're already at this year
Pre-bail.
at $12,500 that I've given to charities. So we're ahead of last year, but I can see it's fading fast. It's just going to get back to the almost like 2 years ago levels. Yep. Thanks, Nomad Beads. Pre-bail. What? I'm going to jail already? I didn't do anything wrong. Just telling you guys. I just talk to you guys. Tell you the truth. You know, if you want me to make up some bullshit and act like yay, you know, I'm not. It's just not gonna. I'm not gonna do it. Hey, thank you, Miranda Freights Healy. You figure it's coming? What'd I do? All right, so he got 5 to 10 years in prison. And I think there's some stuff coming up in these. Sister of strangled woman blames police, DA lack of progress. Holly Seiler found dead in her Lockport home after a fire in 2016 was strangled to death, according to her death certificate. Then, County Coroner Kenneth V. Lederhouse signed the death certificate, which lists the cause of death as manual strangulation. Can you believe that? She didn't die from the fire, you guys. So it says, then Coroner Kenneth V. Lederhouse signed the death certificate, which lists the cause of death as manual strangulation. So now you wonder, is this Bell guy, he's killing himself because he felt guilty, and the fire itself was to hide what he had done originally. Yeah, it completely changes the story now. Not until Wednesday was it publicly known that Seiler's death was a homicide. Mary Seiler gave the Buffalo News a copy of her sister's death certificate, driven by frustration over how, she said, law enforcement authorities have handled the case. They won't solicit help from anyone, she said. The case is a standstill, and they won't go to the FBI and Crime Stoppers. Oh, hey, good night. Keeping it real. And thank you, keeping it real. And thanks for keeping it real, keeping it real. Let's see. Holly Seiler, 54, was found dead at 3:30 a.m. fire, but now we know she was strangled to death before the fire.
Good night, freaks.
Good night. In her second-floor bedroom, Seiler said her suggestions and questions about the case have been met with a cold shoulder from the Lockport Police Department and the Niagara County District Attorney's Office. They haven't followed up on the tips I've given them, Seiler said. A witness mentioned the condition of the body, and no one knows the condition of the body except the police, the DA, and the coroner. I put that in an email. Now, if you were an investigator, wouldn't you get on the phone and say, Mary, who is that? We want to talk to him or her. Lockport Police and the District Attorney's Office had refused to disclose the cause of death. That's helpful, not District Attorney Carolyn A. I can't even pronounce that name. Releasing information that is not officially privy to the public compromises and investigation. On Monday, Crystal Bell, the dead woman's daughter, called the death a murder in a Facebook post. She said a witness, manual strangulation is a murder. She said a witness offered information while waiting outside the crime scene on the morning of the fire, and 2 officers told him to go away. It's a very tough position to be in. That detective said, "We can't give the family all the answers they want because it's pending investigation. They have nothing to tell." Seiler replied. "I have more information than they do. I gave her 2-page list," she said. "I understand they can't give me the information. An ongoing investigation. I'm not asking for your answer. I want to know if you did it. This is still a very active investigation. To characterize that they were not doing anything is simply inaccurate. I understand her frustration, but I was trying to assure her we're doing everything we could." Right. Let's see. The officer who handled the call, Lockport police were called to the home at 7:24 p.m. October 19th, about 8 hours before the fire, after Crystal Ball said that she was punched in the nose by... Oh, well, shit. We got to go back down here. So since she took office at the beginning of 2017, she and assistant district attorneys have met repeatedly with Lockport police about the case. And at times, the entire Lockport Detective Bureau has taken part, she said. "It's our #1 priority. I cannot comment on Miss Seiler's specific allegations. I can tell you I feel very comfortable with all the leads we have followed, all the people we have questioned, and the other investigative tools we have used. Good night, Karen Andrews." Thank you. Wojtasek confirmed Seiler's statement that officers from the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms gathered evidence in the dead woman's bedroom on October 27, 2016, a week after the fire. But the DA said there hasn't been talk of calling in other investigators. "There's never been an idea to call the FBI in. It's certainly something I would consider if they would bring resources." She said she will bring it up at next investigative meeting. Seiler also suggested that police obtain a search warrant for the cell phone of a potential suspect. So far, as she knows, that hasn't happened. Where's the part that I was just reading about? Punched in the... Seiler had called her and other prosecutors often. "We know everybody who was at the scene," the detective said. "We have a number of people that we are interested in. I'm not going to be specific as to whom." Lockport police were called to the home at 7:24 p.m. October 19th, about 8 hours before the fire, after Crystal Bell said that she was punched in the nose by Thomas C. Anderson, Holly's boyfriend, in a dispute over a car. Wow. So, let's see. I mean, yeah, I mean, she's killed just like basically the same, that morning, 7 or 8 hours later. The officer who handled the call reported that they talked to Holly Seiler, who was intoxicated and difficult to understand. She stated that what her daughter said did not make sense, and Anderson would not do that to the victim, Bell. The report said Bell wanted to press charges against Anderson, who had left the scene, but plans to do so were halted at the request of the DA's office 5 days after the death of Seiler, pending further investigation. Less than 3 weeks later, on November 8, 2018, another fire was set in the already damaged home. Holly Seiler's son, Caleb Bell, pleaded guilty to setting the second fire and was sentenced in January to 5 to 10 years in prison. Caleb Bell's attorney, Brian Hutchinson, said during court proceedings that Lockport police interrogated his client about whether he set the fire, a charged Bell always denied. No one has been charged with anything in connection with the first fire. Asked if the second fire set back the investigation into Holly Seiler's death, the detective said that was not a fair characterization. There's always facts in the case you told. Let's see. Asked if the second fire set back the investigation into Holly Seiler's death, the detective said that was not a fair characterization. There's always facts in the case you hold back from the public. So as the investigation is ongoing, there are only things that law enforcement knows, that only the killer know, the detective said. But now that it has been released to the public, we don't have that tool at our disposal, meaning the strangulation. Daughter speaks out 2 years after Holly Seiler. 2 years after a brutal crime rocked her family, Crystal Bell has some things to get off her chest. Crystal Bell's mother, Holly Seiler, was strangled to death in her bedroom during the wee hours of October 20th, 2016. See, that sounds more like what the guy that punched her in the face would have done something like that. Doesn't it? And then, but what's the fire? Was it him also setting the fire to cover it up? And if that's true, then why the hell was it just pure randomness that the sun was burning the house down too? That's just weird. I think this is pretty much the same thing we just read. Oh, let me see. Crystal Bell also sought to dispel an apparent rumor that in the hours before Holly's murder, police responded to 605 East High Street for a fight between Holly and her live-in boyfriend, Tom Anderson. Police were called to the home after reports that Holly's live-in boyfriend, Tom Anderson, punched Crystal Bell in the nose and took her car, according to the police report. By 10:14 p.m., the car had been returned and Anderson was not arrested. An arrest package for Anderson was later pulled per the DA's request. Well, how is that dispelling anything? That's the same story. Huh. Well, anyways, I think, what do you guys think is the most likely in that case right there? Let me guess. She was cooking books. She had a second set of books for the company that she worked at. Oh, jeez. Right, JP? Yeah. Yeah, that one's pretty interesting right there. I'm not saying JP can't be right. It just sounded so far-fetched at the time. Come on, JP, you know it, man. I mean, it's not a terrible theory, JP. It was just the way you went about it wasn't very. I didn't like it. Let's see. Very interesting cases tonight. Yeah, they were pretty interesting, I thought. Definitely a stalker. Yeah, it could be, you know. A pyromaniac stalker who befriended her son and taught him how to be an arsonist too. Yeah, and then he set his own fire because then he was depressed about his mother's death, so he set his own fire. Yeah, there you go. Got it all figured out now. So look at JP. It proves that he was still listening and watching. That's good. That's good. But anyways, I'm going to get going here, guys. So thank you to Eugenie. I think this is... Oh, I got to open up my other file here. Yeah, there it is. They changed the wording on here. Okay, thank you to Caligal3, Kami, and then Tosh with a cat eye. Caligal3 with a cat eye, then Drop32, and then Tosh with another cat eye. Thank you so much, Tosh. Ashy Snow, Counting Dude, Kathy Chapman, Caligal3, then Jim Lawn, Matthew Dolia, Eugenie, Tosh, Jessica Schubach, Adniram, Scouting Dude, and then Tosh with another cat eye, which I think that right there represented about 40% of her. And then Mary Crossley, Amy and Todd Stakely, Amber Maiden, Scouting Dude, Plato, Amy and Todd Stakely, Ashy Snow, Wendy Johnson, Amy and Todd Stakely, Tosh, Scouting Dude, Keeping It Real, Nomad Beads, Miranda, Freitas Healy, Keeping It Real, and Karen Andrews. Then, we had Tosh again, very generous, on PayPal earlier in the day. Then we also had Jade Rigsby and Your Gypsy. Alright, I think that's it. I don't think there's... So, anyways, appreciate it, you guys. I think 3, 4, yeah. More of a lucky night, so thank you very much. So it's not really even at the level where I give something away, but I'll do the notebook tonight again. All right. So you get the notebook with the stress ball in it. Well, I hope you guys thought those were interesting stories. I thought they were all of them were, kind of unique and just crazy how they're still out there. Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah. It didn't seem like the chat had the enthusiasm for that, but yeah, seemed pretty good. You did. So thank you. Let's see. Can't wait for the next really big case. Yeah, Cairo's on there from yesterday. Alright, there we go. So Cairo has got a little less than Tosh has in there, but they have the best chance of winning, but they might not win. Oh, there you go, there you go. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, no, yeah, Nomad beats. Wow, that was a pretty good win with the odds that you had. Yeah. Nomad beats. I think I just sent Nomad beats a notebook. You want the notebook, Nomad beats, or I can spin again too. Oh, you want the... You just got the notebook though, right? So you want another notebook and a stress ball, okay. Okay, cool. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for being here tonight. We got another show in the books. Thought they were interesting ones. They're just, it sucks that they just sort of stop. You know, there's no more, and they're so old, and nobody did anything with them. I mean, maybe they did for a while, but it just went. Yeah. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, my back right now, I gotta go lay down. It's a little bit stiff now. So thank you very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, enemy respecter with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
What in the hell was that? That was crazy. What happened to your voice, Mary Lou?